Okay, we are live. This is Attorney Vincent Davis, and this is The Secret, How to Fight CPS and Win. I'm joined by my two guest hosts, my co-hosts, Miss Georgette Truen. Miss G, how are you this evening?
I'm good. How are you, Mr. Davis?
Doing good. And of course, we have Darren Guay. Darren, how are you?
Fabulous, Mr. Davis. Very good.
Good. And I see we have a very special guest tonight, Miss Destiny. Is it Council?
Yes.
Hello,
Hi.
Destiny. How are you?
I'm okay.
So, where are you coming from? What state are you in?
I'm in Florida,
Florida.
West Palm.
Oh, okay. I think we had wasn't yesterday's guest on West from Florida? Can't remember. But you're from West Palm Beach?
hmm
Okay, so what's going on with CPS in West Palm Beach?
Well, last April the 14th, my cousin, she had a baby, and I was at the hospital with her. She already agreed that I was gonna be getting a baby or trying to get the baby because she's drug addicted. So, um, once we was at the hospital, CPS came in. They asked me to do a drug test, and they went on from there. They said I had to do fingerprinting and all that different stuff. So I already was prepared for all of that different stuff, and it took them probably like a week. I went to court. The baby was fine. After all of the situation happened, the DCF worker told me that I wasn't able to get the baby because of, I guess they looked at my fingerprint. I already had did necessarily my home study, and I guess the home study didn't even matter necessarily. Him looking at my house didn't matter because I guess of the fingerprinting. She looked at my fingerprinting, and I guess she had seen that I had got an aggravated battery with a deadly weapon. Um, I told her that had told her that it was a no file, and I guess she said it just happened last year, and that it, and that I had went to jail, and I was just like, okay, yeah, but I only went to jail for one day, and that it had got put out. And she was just like, well, we also seen that you had drugs inside your system, which was TAC. And I told her that I had a card for that. And she was just like, she was just like, the baby ended up going with somebody else from foster care.
Did you ever go to court and try to do anything about it?
We went to court one time. Basically the court man, the judge, he was fine with everything. He talked to my cousin, and she just basically said necessarily what she was supposed to do, necessarily like going to a drug treatment place further on, because she didn't want to go right then and there. She said necessarily that she wanted me to get the baby in the meantime. I tried to tell him that I had a roommate. He was fine with all of that. He was just like, as long as she be able to get her passport or something like that, because she's going through some other stuff. And he was just like, that's fine. But I didn't tell him about necessarily my sentencing, that my paperwork necessarily of the aggravated battery. I should have said something right then and there necessarily to see, like, okay, if it was necessarily a no go, or necessarily, if he would have been like, oh no. But yeah, so that's where I'm at right now.
Well, have you filed any type of motion or petitions to have the child placed with you?
No, I have not yet.
Okay, well, that's something that you want to do, right?
Yes.
Because my motto has always been, if the social worker doesn't agree to do what you want,
hmm
you have to go talk to the judge,
Okay.
right? You have to go talk to the judge. And the only way that you can talk to the judge is usually by making motions or filing petitions, in
hmm
this case, to have the child placed with a relative being you.
Yes.
Because the judge has the ultimate authority in the case, not the social worker. But a
Okay.
lot of people just stop at the social worker. Once the social worker tells you no, what can you do? I get a lot of people that ask me, hey, what can we do with making the social worker change his or her mind?
hmm
And generally the answer is nothing.
Yes. So,
Okay.
question.
hmm
So, in the case of the fingerprinting and all that different stuff, didn't that have to go through the judge? Didn't that have to go through the judge? And
No, no, no. They
oh,
could they could just look at you and say, "Hey, we don't want to give you the child."
oh wow. Okay.
And then what are you going to do? A lot of people say, "Well, we're going to do an administrative appeal within CPS."
Oh
Well,
wow.
that's long. That and it's not
Mm.
even a judge.
Yes.
It's an administrative law judge, at least here in California.
Yes.
So what you want to do is you want to go right to the person who makes the ultimate decision, and
Mm-hmm.
that's the judge. Now, I'm
Hmm.
not telling you, because I don't know enough about the case, I'm not telling you if the judge is going to rule in your favor or not.
Yes.
But if you don't go to the judge, you're not getting the child.
Okay.
So if you really want this child, you're going to have to file the motions, the petitions, and go in front of this court and
Okay.
plead your case.
Okay.
Prove that the child should be with you, not in foster care.
Okay. Heard. Um.
Okay.
So
But,
what?
but this is the other thing. Don't sit around and wait for the social worker to do the right thing,
Okay.
because the social worker is not going to do the right thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So take, action upon yourself. Now, let me ask you this. Okay. And it's kind of a ridiculous example.
Mhm.
But if it wasn't a child and it was a box that had $10 million in it, and the social worker said, "Well, I'm not going to give it to you," what would you do? What would you do?
Yeah.
You'd go hire Johnny Cochran if he was still alive.
Yeah.
That's what you do.
Yeah.
Okay, so why don't you treat the child who's probably worth more than that, right? In most families, and go get an attorney and get the child placed with you.
Okay.
Don't wait. Do not wait for the social worker to come around and do the right thing. The
Mhm.
longer you wait, here's something, and a lot of people don't understand this. The longer you wait to do this, the less likely you're going to get the child.
Okay.
So act now.
Okay.
Don't just wait.
Okay. So necessarily, are they gonna be necessarily with my no file and my MD card? Is that necessarily? Are they gonna look at me like, oh, she's still doing drugs? Like, and necessarily that my case was so like a year ago.
Well, first of all, you're no file. I mean, at least in California, you have to have a conviction.
Yeah.
And there is that saying, you're innocent until proven guilty.
Mhm.
So the significance of the no file is important in my eyes. I don't know if there's a different law in Florida, but if you were in California, no file means you're innocent.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Now, with respect to the drug issue,
Mhm.
I guess medical marijuana is legal in Florida.
Yes.
Okay, so they're not supposed to use that against you unless there's some special law in Florida that I don't know about.
Okay.
But if you have the card, you need to go in front of the judge and explain to the judge, "Hey, judge, I got a prescription for this.
Yes. Okay. Sure.
Please don't use it against me. And if you're going to use it against me, I will continue to test or I'll stop using it and get an alternative drug."
Okay.
Okay? You know, marijuana is becoming legal all over this country,
Mhm.
like alcohol was back in the 20s and before that. But I can tell you now, because in cases that I do, and when I talk to prosecutors and or social workers,
Mhm.
they still look at weed like it's the devil weed. It's the
Mm.
worst thing in the world. So just because we made it legal doesn't changing things up here in the minds of social workers, maybe in front of some judges.
Heard. Heard.
Before COVID, I used to appear in front of this judge who went out of her way to say to social workers, marijuana is legal, get used to it. Don't come to me with a marijuana case
Yeah.
unless you can prove some type of abuse.
Yeah.
But that goes back to the old thing. A lot of people treat drug use as being what they call strict liability.
Yeah.
You test dirty, that's it, forget it. The law actually is in California. If you test dirty, they got to prove one other thing,
Yeah.
that you can't take care of the kid.
Oh wow. Yeah.
There is such a thing as a functional addict.
Mhm.
That means, someone who's using drugs regularly and just taking care of the kid just fine.
Mhm.
Just fine. Now, I'm not saying that's a good or a bad thing. I'm just telling you what I think the law is and what it should be.
Mhm.
In your state, it may be different.
Okay, so what motion should I go ahead and necessarily try to go ahead and file?
Well, I'm not familiar enough with Florida law, but in California, it would be a motion. They call it a 388 petition to have the child placed with you, a motion to place the child with
Mhm.
you. You might even want to, a lot of people say you can't do this, but I disagree. File a petition for guardianship or temporary guardianship.
Okay.
You
Um,
know,
so
file. There's one other thing. California has something called the de facto motion. And you want to file for de facto standing. And a lot of people will say, well, Vince, you can't do that if she didn't take care of the kid. And in California, that's not true. There is something called a Charles S. de facto motion,
mhm,
which says that you're basically a biological relative, and therefore you have interest in the child, and you should be allowed in court to try to present evidence on your own behalf. So if you're a blood relative, which you're saying to me that you are, talk to an attorney in Florida and see if you can do that same thing. And in some cases, which is not your case, but I get this a lot, relatives who were taking care of the child for a significant part of the child's life on earth can file for something called a presumed parent status in California. I don't know if Florida has this,
mhm,
but in California, there's a mother and a dad, biologically speaking. But the child can have more than one parent, and you can become what's called a presumed parent.
okay.
All right. And that means that you took care of this child and you should be treated by the law as a presumed parent. I give you an example. Mother and father, biological father, separated before the birth of the child.
Mhm,
Okay. New father, stepfather, takes care of the kid for 5 years. Then a CPS case is filed against the mom.
mhm,
The first thing that they want to do is they want to kick the stepdad out of the court because he's not the father. But in California, I don't know in Florida, but in California, he can file what's called presumed parent status.
Okay.
So there'd be the mother, the bio dad, and then the presumed father. I've even seen cases where they had two presumed fathers.
mhm.
So there's the mother, the bio dad, presumed father number one, presumed father number two. Obviously, social workers don't like to see that because they have to perhaps give more services in a case, and services cost money.
Yes.
Yeah. But
Okay.
any other questions you had for me?
That's it.
Oh, that's it. Miss G, did you have any questions for our guest?
Okay, here we go. When the social worker first contacted you, was it because of marijuana? Or was it because of drug use, or what was it for?
What do you mean?
Like
Like,
when the first initial contact with the social worker, what was the reason? The exact
um,
reason?
because of the drug use of the mother when the baby was born.
So the drug use of the mother when the baby was born, and the mother was using what?
Cocaine, Molly.
Oh, okay. You said, and the only thing you're doing, you were using medical marijuana,
Yeah.
correct? For like sleeping purpose or
Yes, for my back.
her
Yes.
back. Okay. And did the social worker literally write down in the report that you're a drug user?
I guess so. I told her.
You probably don't know. You
Wow.
probably never saw the report.
So you never seen anything, but they just said they can't place the child with you because you use drugs.
Yes, I asked for the report. She said the report wasn't ready yet because of the judging filing it.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Have you watched the show with me, Davis, and attorney Ocardi?
I'm not sure. I watched so many of them.
That show, I think Vincent repeated it. He reran it several times because of people requesting that show to be rerun. But um, it was when the show was it, Davis? It was about the show about
No,
drugs.
the show was last week.
It was
I think
last
it was
week.
like Tuesday or Wednesday, huh?
Mhm.
And then we ran it on Saturday morning.
Saturday. right?
We'll probably rerun it again.
Yeah, that show is very informative, and Davis informed me that me and Attorney Ukari will be doing shows every week periodically.
Okay.
If you can just watch that show and listen to what he has to say to drug use and what have you,
Hmm.
please, it will help you a great deal.
Okay.
And it will help your case a great deal. Don't you agree with me, Davis?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it will help you a great deal. So please watch it.
All right. Perfect.
Please, okay? Because what they're doing is literally illegal kidnapping.
Yeah.
Because the child should remain with family. You are family.
Yeah.
You are blood family.
I literally had everything ready for him. Like his room is still set up the same way. So like I was just
Right.
like down as soon as she was just like, no, you can't get him. I was just like, I didn't get no paperwork, nothing. Like my home study man, he didn't even call the people who he said that he was gonna call. I was just like, did they call him? Did they call you? And she was just like, no, I didn't call. So I was just like, what's going on for
But
real?
you
So
did not know that Destiny, you did not know that she was doing drugs, right? Or did you know? Did you
I
tell them that
didn't
you knew?
know. I didn't know. That's the reason why I was there, because I knew that she was just like, Destiny, she basically was trying to basically give me the baby, but without basically that's why I asked her if she wanted to do adoption. But I knew that if DCF was gonna get involved, and I would have to do, through the court dates and all that different stuff. So I already knew that all of this was going, because she already have 2 other kids that's adopted out, because she didn't go to court or nothing like that. So
I want to tell you something. Well, this is true in California, but a lot of people don't like to recognize that or recognize this fact. If the mother is about to give a child where she was using drugs,
Mhm.
but arranges with a relative to take care of the child, it's my position that CPS can't even get involved
oh wow.
because the mother has made an arrangement herself
Yeah.
to have the child taken care of.
The caseworker did say when she came inside of the room, she was just like, did you guys have like some private arrangements or private adoption going on or something like that? Or if not, we gonna have to get involved.
So if that's the law, Vincent, in California, why is it so many relatives are having problems for placement when the mother made the arrangements ahead of time?
Yeah, and she said it. She
Mhm.
said it to the lady. She said
What,
it to
what,
hospital
wait
people.
a minute. Why do you think, Miss G?
Because they did not do it legally,
But
right?
why? Why?
Because they uh, what?
Why? Why didn't they? Why didn't they? Darren, why didn't they do it legally?
Because what's legal isn't lawful.
No.
No.
No. It's as plain as the nose on my face. Money.
Oh yeah, money, title.
Well, we know that.
But
But
listen,
we already
but
know
wait a
the
minute.
money.
But
Well,
hold on a second. Hold
it's like
on.
it's like making a sale.
But look,
If
I,
somebody takes a sale from you, you can still make a sale by taking the kid. What were you going to say, Darren?
so the Family Court Act, right? And yeah, both of these from the Family Court Act, 1012F, and both read. Now this is a kicker here, because this is about their funding and the rules. So 1046B and then the 3 I's, funny thing, says when a parent is in treatment, the state may not use drug or alcohol misuse prima facie as evidence of neglect, even if it results in a substantial state of stupor. Then to go on to that other one, it says if the parent is voluntarily and regularly participating in treatment, the court can't make a ruling of neglect unless substance abuse results in loss of self-control, sufficient evidence that the child has been put in physical and emotional well-being is put on or has been impaired or is in imminent danger of becoming impaired. Now, both of these clearly state that they cannot use these. This cannot happen. So why are they getting away with this? Why are no lawyers? Because I tried to argue this within my situation. It says right there, you can't do this. Why are more lawyers not standing up and saying, okay, you guys, if you're going to push this, then I want to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and look into your W-2s, your W-4s, and make sure that you guys aren't securing Title IV funding on this child because now you are going against these rules.
What were you reading to us, Darren?
Do these come from the Family Court Act?
We're in Maine.
No, this comes from this are national stuff. There's the family. I think it's not wasn't supposed to be the family square. I think it's like Families First. I'll get it. I'll send you a link right now.
Okay.
I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. You know, it's like in the states things with the drug test. A drug test, just like the guy said, that means nothing. It clearly states in the state of Maine, and I've looked into a couple other states too. It says that urine screens are not to be used for decisions such as TPR, such as visitations, as a standalone thing, and that's what they're doing. You know, you have counselors coming out and saying these people aren't doing anything. And these counselors have spent multiple hours, more hours than these counselors have spent with these patients, or if you will, or whatever, than the CPS workers have even spent with a child in a quarter of that. And these people are coming out to court saying these people are fine. You know, their problem is you took their children from them. You forced them into a state of stupor. Now, that's not an excuse to do drugs. Absolutely not. And I'm not condoning that. But it is that is the consequence for what they do to people. If you take an addict, that struggles every day and is barely making it through these times in these trials, and then all of a sudden CPS comes in and says, okay, well, you did drugs 2 years ago, so we're going to have to take that child from you. You send that person into a downward spiral. And what do you expect? Do you really expect them to come out of that? Come on, man. Why are these people? I just don't understand. It just makes no sense that these advocates for the counseling. I mean, the states are spending all this money on, the opiate epidemic and all this stuff. Isn't it funny that they're spending all this money to recover all these people, and they're taking their kids from them? It's a double-edged sword, right? So Maine get $50 billion for some opiate addict, and then you get $50 billion for taking their kids too. That's $100 billion payday on these opiate addicts. And it's sickening. You know, and there's all of these rules that state this, and no one fights this. Oh, let me send you that. Sorry about that.
Destiny, any other questions you have for us this evening?
Nope, that's it.
So have you talked to an attorney in Florida about your situation?
The only attorney that I talked to was the attorney that was accountant to my cousin, and I'm still talking to them. I talked to them last week, and they asked me if I do have the files, and I'm just getting my MD card, so I was gonna go ahead and show them that tomorrow. And my driver's license. That's the things that they wanted. They said they was gonna set a motion for me, but I wanted to necessarily go up there and go and see like necessarily what were they typing up on the motion, you know.
Okay. Well, let me recommend to you to go talk to a licensed attorney in Florida who has CPS experience to represent you.
Mm-hmm.
Do not rely on your cousin's attorney.
Mm-hmm.
They may come through, but you need to also take steps to come through for yourself.
Yes, exactly.
And I just want to tell you this, it's kind of a cold-blooded statement, but they have no duty to do anything for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So you waiting on them, it might not be a good strategy.
Heard.
And if you do talk to an attorney, that attorney can work with them if necessary.
Heard. Okay.
Okay? All right, Destiny, thank you for coming.
Real quick before you go, sorry, Miss Davis, to cut you off, but Destiny, just before you go, honey, you have to understand you're dealing with a narcissistic, sociopathic entity. These people don't care about you. Just like you're dealing with a narcissistic father,
Yeah.
right? You won't be able to have, like, there is no way you can co-parent with them. I mean, even the top-notch psychiatrists will tell you there's no way in hell you can co-parent with a narcissist, whether they're covert, malignant, it doesn't matter. They're crazy bastards, right?
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with the system. they're crazy.
Hmm.
So don't ever think you can expect them to do the right thing.
Okay.
Okay. And
All
actually, I'm just letting you know, do everything possible to get your family home and watch that show with attorney Okadi.
okay.
Okay.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
All right, Destiny, thank you again for being on tonight.
All
Keep
right.
us posted as to what happens, okay?
Okay.
All righty. Good night.
All right. Good night. Bye bye.
Bye
All
bye,
right.
Justin.
Oh, what happened to Darren?
I have
I'm right
no
here.
idea.
Oh, okay.
Do you see me?
I
Oh, you
see
can just see my eyes.
the top of your head.
Yeah, I'm reading. I'm trying to read. I'm trying to read.
Oh,
So I found the family court act stuff was there. This one that's from New York, but there's other. I believe that they mirror. I'm trying to look at cross reference it to the families first or the. I get the ones. What's the? I get these confused. There's the one that was the Clinton, right, which is the families first prevention, right, and
no,
then
I forget what it's called.
the one that Trump did was the America Safe Families, right, the ASFA,
I
Yes,
right.
think I
yes,
think so.
that's the one that Trump did.
Okay, so anyway, these laws cross-reference these things, but the bottom line too is this, and I know this guy hit on this. These there are so many policies and procedure that are in place for this for the drug addict stuff that is just being completely ignored. Like you said right there, Mr. Davis, like something very similar to those aspects of in California. The American with Disabilities Act now covers opiate addicts as long as you're not currently using, you're not an active user, I guess is what they consider it, and you were part of the opiate epidemic, you are now covered under the American with Disabilities Act. So there's a lot of resources out here that that are some pretty like we're all looking for a class A person like yourself to come up and lead these reins, but there's a lot of big hard hitting organizations out there that if you can get their ears might be able to make some um, you know huge strides too.
Hmm.
But
Okay.
you have the ADA, that's crazy.
So we have some time left. I know there was somebody in the audience that wanted to come on with us. I don't know if I think Grace sent them an invite, so we'll see if she logs on. But for the rest of the next 15, 20 minutes, anything you guys want to discuss?
Yes. So the important thing to have when completing for trial preparation, your what are the important things for the parent to complete for trial preparation?
Did you say pleadings?
No, to
Oh,
complete for
oh.
trial preparation. Yeah.
Number one, have a meeting with the attorney, either on the phone or in person, Zoom, something.
Uh huh.
You and the attorney need to get on the same page.
What about subpoenaing, like
Number
social
two,
workers?
Number two, any
Hmm.
witnesses that you want subpoenaed, you need to make sure that your attorney subpoenas them. Now, sometimes here's what happens in a lot of cases.
Hmm.
You know, parent tells me, "Hey, I want witnesses A, B, C, D,"
Hmm.
and I estimate that witness D is not a good witness to subpoena, and witness A, B, C have nothing to do with the issues with the court. And the parent tells me, "Well, I want the judge to hear it. I want the judge to hear it." Sometimes parents make the wrong strategy calls, and they're busy wanting to be right
Hmm.
instead of busy wanting to win. If somebody tells me, "I want you to call this witness to say ABC," and if I believe that it's good for the parent, I'm going to do that.
Hmm.
If I believe it's bad for the parent, probably not. I'll give you an example. In California, character evidence is generally inadmissible. So somebody tells me, yeah, character evidence like Miss G is a good person, Miss
Hmm.
G is a good mom,
Hmm.
Miss G is this or that. It's just your character in the community.
Hmm.
most judges, from my experience, are going to exclude that type of witness.
Mhm.
Now, there is a theory that there is an exception. Character evidence is admissible if the testimony is at issue. And there's at least one evidence academician person who wrote that in a dependency case, CPS case, character of being a fit parent was always at issue. I mean, that's what the whole case is about. However, when I bring that up in front of a lot of judges, they limit the amount of character evidence, or they don't allow it at all. And those types of things, in my experience, have been upheld on appeal, meaning, someone at a higher level didn't think it was that big of a deal. So, and a lot of judges in dependency cases, they're allowed to control the evidence, the time for the case, the number of minutes on a witness. And if you don't comply with that time limit, they're going to cut you off. And, a lot of parents think, well, we can take as long as we want. And
Yeah,
that's not
somebody,
the case. That's not the case.
right.
I had a case that an appeal, this is years ago, maybe 10 years ago. A judge limited me to the number of minutes that I could call a witness for.
Mhm.
And I don't remember the exact amount of minutes, but I called an expert witness. And I think the judge only gave me like 3 minutes with with this witness.
Mhm.
And when I started questioning, the judge turned on a timer.
Mhm.
And I didn't even get through the witnesses laying the foundation that he or she was an expert in the 3 minutes. And it was an important witness to the case. Now, one of the things that strategically happened, is that the other attorneys started objecting and eating up my time, my 3 minutes, right? Kind of a
Mhm.
strategy move. And I wasn't able to get all the information that I needed from that witness, and we lost. Do you know that I appealed that and I lost that appeal?
Mhm.
And the Court of Appeals basically said that, hey, the judge wears the black robe. He or she can make the rules and determine how that case is going to proceed. So let's not waste time with witnesses that you just want me to call to make you feel good. Let's focus on winning and not focus on making you feel good. Go ahead, Miss G.
Okay, the discovery under local, you always recommend the discovery from the social worker. So to get the discovery from the social worker to review it, for the attorney to review it, and you said that it's in your opinion, this is a step which is not used enough. The social worker records and file, which are different from the court's record and files. You said that is very important and it's not used enough. Could you
It,
explain that
it,
to
can,
me,
it,
please?
it can be very important, yeah,
Yeah. Can you explain why it can be very important?
because the social worker's records might contain exculpatory evidence.
Mhm.
Social workers, though, are getting smart and not putting that kind of thing in their records when they should be. So now when you start requesting, their records, it doesn't have the good, juicy stuff that it used to have, because social workers are learning how to win.
Right.
Social workers are focused on winning. They're not focused on trying to be right. They're focused on winning.
Kind of like, yeah, like I said before, like a sociopath parent that all he wants to do is win, not care so much about the children. Same thing with the social workers. So you recommend that now before the hearing or trial. You mentioned that you should work on the opening and closing argument with your attorney. Now, when working on the opening and closing argument with your attorney, um, can you give an example?
Well, let me retract that. One
Mhm.
of the first things that you have to do is you have to come up with a theme of your case. Like, what's the theme? What's the story that you want to convey?
Mhm.
You know, um, somebody texted me something today about they wanted this argued and that argued and this and that and this and that.
Mhm.
And it's going off the whole theme of the case that I strategized for.
Mhm.
But it's one of those things. Mr. Davis, I want you to do the ask the she sent me a list of questions to ask,
Mhm.
which I don't mind. Some of them were actually very good. A lot of them were not good. So come up with a theme and then tell your story around it. You know, in very few dependency cases do you ever see an opening argument. Do they ever do it? Yeah.
But why
Do I?
not though? Why not consistently, if I may ask?
Well, as a parent's attorney, you may not want to do it because you, remember there's no jury. Okay, there's just the judge, the jury of one. And if you give an opening statement that lays out your defense, the social worker's attorney and the minor's attorney who may be against you will have time to strategize to wreck your defense. So why tell them what you're going to do?
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does now. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, let
Yeah.
me add somebody to the stream. This is Jackie Nygaard. She she messaged us on I think she was on Facebook,
Yep.
and she wanted to be a part of the show tonight. So
Yeah.
Jackie, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Do you know Miss G?
I do. I do. Hi, Miss G.
Hi, baby girl.
Hi.
And do you know Darren Guy?
I do. I was on the last show. Well, not the last show, but the last show I was on. He was on there.
Okay.
Mhm.
Was that Miss G's show?
Yep.
That's on, what day is that on? Tuesday, Thursday?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Tuesday,
So
Thursday, Friday.
Miss Jackie,
Yeah.
what did you want to share with us this evening?
Okay. So I relentlessly searched the internet for any kind of hope or any kind of ways to fight, strategies to fight CPS, and I stumbled upon this website called getyourchildrenback.com. And I was reading it, and as I'm reading it, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's what happened to me. Oh my gosh, that's what happened to me. Oh my
Mhm.
gosh, that's exactly what happened to me.
Mhm.
And since this whole case started, nothing has made any sense. Nothing.
Wait,
Except,
hold on a second. Hold on. Did you say getyourchildrenback.com?
yep, yep,
Because I
yeah,
just typed that in and it's
yep.
there's nothing.
Oh,
Nothing.
hold on. Get your, yeah, hold on. Get your children back. Maybe it's from CPS. No, hold on. .com. It should be. Um,
Nope.
yeah, here it is. Sorry, it's get my children back. Oh, .com. Yeah, my courses. Yeah,
Oh, get my children back.
yeah.
Have you heard of this, Darren or Georgette?
Yes.
Miss Darren.
I'm sorry.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. No, I have. Is that the one that they you sign up and then you be part of that? You do a private court. Is that part of that?
I don't know what that is. But I just paid for the course because when I was reading
Yeah.
it made so much sense,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh my gosh, this makes so much sense. And he
So
basically, yep,
I'm pretty sure that's what they do on these, Mr. Davis. Is you set your own court as a jurisdiction,
yep.
and then you rule with yourself, and then you give
Thank-
order of demand for your kid back because you've ruled in your own court that they were wrong in what they did,
Yep.
and
Before
then
the
it's
binding hearing.
yeah. Unfortunately, I'm gonna be honest. We did that at the beginning, and it was just a waste of $55 because when I brought it to the courthouse, they just laughed at me.
So
So
let
whether
me
this
let,
stuff was
let me
real
tell you
or
something. Let me tell you something. Before COVID, a guy hired me up north, and he wanted me to implement a strategy that he learned from a paralegal online. It was a course that he bought for like 149, and it required you to do some things that I told him would not work, and he fired me. I gave him a full refund, and I went on about my life, and I wished him luck. He contacts me about 90 days later and says, "Look, I need to hire you." And I'm like, "Well,
I don't
you
want to do
know,
that again.
we don't have to have that argument again." He goes, "No, no, no, no." He says, I'm going to do whatever you tell me to do. I said, well, what happened to that, that thing you bought on the internet? He says, it was a ripoff. I did exactly what he said, what the course said to
Mm,
do. And I got bounced and laughed out of court.
yeah.
He said it was the most humiliating thing
Hmm.
that he ever
And
learned.
they can use that down the road against you when you go back to court. They can use
Right.
those that you attempted.
So he also told me this, which was, kind of interesting, that because I had substituted into the case, and I had attended one hearing where we set dates for the trial and everything. And at some point, I guess the judge asks him, what happened to Mr. Davis? What he should have kept Mr. Davis, right? And he says, well, Mr. Davis refused to do what I wanted him to do. And the judge says, well, why didn't you listen to him? Right? So, needless to say, he went down in flames, and then he calls me back. And it
Like
was
$50 of his deposit.
it was a disaster of a case to try to fix. A
Okay.
lot of people think, hey, I let me try this, and then I can go to Davis or go to whoever and hire them, and they can come in and do the same thing. No. Once you do that and you lose a certain way and findings and orders are made against you, it's like car crash. Now let Davis pull the cars apart, straighten out the metal so everyone can drive their own way. Okay. Now, I don't know anything about Get My Children Back. Nothing. I don't know who runs it. I have no idea. First time I've ever seen the website.
A lot of it makes a lot of sense because it's based on common law, and they have a point. Like, so just so you guys know, I received a CPA petition from CPS, and at the top of the memo, it's supposed to say, like, when I got sued by my ex, it says petitioner and respondent. On the CPA that CPS filed with the court, it says at the top, it doesn't say my name as a respondent. It doesn't say petitioner. It says in
Ray.
in the matter of, and then it says my son's name. So he's basically said that that's a memo, and they're trying to trick me into putting myself in their jurisdiction so that they can, make me basically play their game. And if I just
Okay.
stand the ground and say, and challenge contest and challenge their jurisdiction, then I have a chance of getting my son back that day.
Okay. So now you have guaranteed yourself once, maybe even more times to come back on the show and report to us what has happened.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, what do you think? What do you think, though? I mean, is
What
there any?
do you want my honest opinion?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know how to say it in a nice way.
Yeah, yes. I think I summed it up pretty good with that.
You're headed for disaster. But you know what? It's one of those things that you'll have to learn yourself.
Well, I'm not going to go do that.
Just like the guy up north, just like the guy up north.
That's why I wanted to get on your show to ask you if it made any sense to you before I would, hit a brick wall.
All the, and by the way, this website isn't the first to sell that common law theory. Okay. And listen, if you want to believe that and not the attorney that you have.
Well, but that's the problem. I would almost be better off doing that than my attorneys. They've all been horrible. They wouldn't tell me about my hearings. I've missed hearings because
Hold on. What you need to do is you need to hire another attorney.
I've hired 5.
Are they all, Miss G always talks about this, and I don't really talk about it. And I should probably more, but this is what she always says. Did you hire a family law lawyer or did you hire a CPS lawyer? And how do you know?
Well, one of them is a CPS lawyer, and he's working on my custody case. I know. And the other one's a public defender that just got hired because they switched the other public defender that I had.
Okay. Well, what state are you in?
Idaho.
Okay.
I've tried state and state attorneys just to see if the other one might be better. Like a state attorney would be better.
You know what I'm going to suggest to you?
Huh.
After the show, You need to contact Miss G.
Okay.
You need to listen to what she has to say.
Okay.
I already, I'm going to tell you something. I've known Miss G probably 5 or 6 years. How many?
5 or 6.
I don't know. Can't read her lips.
I can't hear.
I meant to say way more than 6 years. We've known
Okay.
each other quite some time.
Do you know how long it took me to convince Miss G to start thinking about cases in a legal, analytical way?
No.
Years. Years. To this day, I still have to convince her about, different things. Let me tell you something, Jackie.
Yes.
If you implement that strategy of the website you just went to,
Yeah.
you are heading for disaster. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay. Well, I'll take
Yep.
that then. I'll take
you,
that.
you know, I hope that you get your child back, but you got to come up with a better plan than the
I will.
common law thing.
I will get my child back. There's nothing that's going to stop me from getting my
And-
kid back.
But hold it, I don't want you to discount, because I just brought you in the show. I don't know what you're going to talk about. I want you to listen to what Darren said.
Okay.
He
Oh.
already tried that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was he tried that in Maine, and it was a disaster.
Yep.
Now, I've told you about a case in California.
Mm-hmm.
It was
Darren tried everything. Yeah.
It's a disaster for that guy.
Okay.
Look, and he's right. He's right. I've tried every shoddy, tricky, look at this scheme, do this, do that, joke.
Well, you're
This
desperate.
$10, $100.
You're
I've
desperate.
done them all. They don't. There's nothing gets court because at the end of the day, you're still in the courtroom,
You're
and
desperate.
there's still rules and laws and things that you have to abide by.
And
to
we
get
abide
past
by.
there.
Like we're subject to statutes.
Everybody all of a sudden is coming out with this shit. Excuse my language, but it's just time enough. Everybody's a fucking lawyer now. Excuse my language again, but I'm so sick of it. Like, did you know statutes before this? All of a sudden, someone comes out with it like statutes are meant for these people. Oh, really?
Well,
Because
that's
Tom
what
Jones said it on a thing. That's the law now. Did you look at this in a book? Are statutes for the government people, or are they supposed to be for every citizen of the country? Because people are just listening and throwing arrows, and you're making us look like idiots. Stop. Do the research, please. This is ridiculous. Enough. People, listen to Mr. Davis. He's done this for 30 years. Enough.
He's right about that, you guys. People are coming, and I told you guys this on the shows a million times. All these children advocates and a sitting attorney. I heard that from a host of a show. I'm gonna be nameless on that one, but I can't stand her false information. She's saying to people that she's a sitting attorney, that she got all these credentials, that she goes to court hearings with you and she helps you win your kids back, and how she got her daughter back. She didn't get her shit back.
Yeah,
at
ask
all.
any of these people. Ask any of them.
She didn't get her daughter back. She still has visitation with her kid. She's telling people lies and lies and lies, and she's not the only one. There's so many. And I told you guys this, to stop giving ear to these social media shit show, right? And then she tells people, here's my Cash App, so they can donate to her. And she's not the only one. There's more and more and more. And I got so much attacks on that. When I said that on my shows, I got so many attacks.
Vince,
saying the truth from these people who hate the fact that I exposed their story asses to the public. Why? Because they want to continue to take advantage. You know what they do? They go to Davis, and she knows who I'm talking about. She knows very well. She goes to Davis, asks Davis question via text. She takes the answers, goes on her show, and tells people what she can do.
You better block her.
That's how sick, twisted this woman is. She's not the only one. There's so many people that kiss his ass.
I'm not. Listen, I'm not trying to be.
Wait, hold on, and then take it, and then use it, and get money from people, right? To think they're helping you. So be careful with people that kiss ass. Be careful with people, brown nose people, I would like to call them, and be careful where how far they will go to
Yep.
get what they want. They're
Yep.
not sitting
I'm
attorneys. They're not qualified attorneys. They're nothing. Okay.
Hold on. Time out.
Can I ask you one more question, Vincent, really
Yes.
quick?
Yep.
Go ahead.
I was just wondering, so CPS, I have a really nice home for my son, like a beautiful home for my son. And CPS, since they are convinced that I'm a horrible drug addict when I had a relapse because they literally didn't give me the services they knew that I was going to need, and basically used my ex to push me off the edge so they can say, see, she's a drug addict when I was clean. And then they pushed me off the edge and then said, knowing that I would go off the edge and relapse. But I still have a beautiful home. It's not going to take long to fix this issue. And they want me to go to a homeless shelter for 2 years. And it just doesn't make sense. How am I going to get my son back in a homeless shelter?
Why would you go to
No,
a homeless shelter
no.
when you have a gorgeous home?
Like,
No,
Jackie, stop for a second. Let me tell you something, okay?
that's crazy.
Jackie,
Yeah.
I don't know anybody in Idaho,
Oh God, you don't want to. I used to love this state.
but you're going to have to find someone in your state that's a CPS expert. He or she exists.
Yep.
And when you find that person, you're going to want to get a consultation from that person, that attorney.
Right.
Okay.
Hello. But it's going to be late. I mean, what if I find another shit attorney and then, because I did hear that so after the adjudicating hearing or whatever, after that, I don't have a chance to basically tell them to dismiss the CPA, right? Like I can tell them to dismiss it. Is that correct?
Well, I mean,
After the
I get. Well, wait a minute. When is your next court date?
The 22nd, I have the pretrial, and then I have the hearings, the findings.
Okay, is that called the jurisdictional hearing?
Yeah, the adjudication or whatever.
Right. Okay, so you're early in the case then.
Yeah, but I haven't seen my son in 60 days.
Okay, well, that's a whole nother issue. Okay, let's talk about winning the case.
Okay.
You need to come up with a theme for your case.
Okay.
You need to come up with evidence and witnesses.
Okay.
That's the only way you're going to win.
Okay.
Stay away from this common law BS.
Okay. And I need to go sign up for their drug testing because I've just refused, but now it's court ordered and I still haven't signed up because they falsified my test and I'm scared to death.
Watch his show.
Okay, we just did a show. We just did a show
Watch
on
the
drug
show.
testing.
Okay.
It was on last Wednesday, and then it was a repeat on Saturday morning. And people are still asking me about it.
Yep.
And you need to watch that show.
Okay, I will do that. Okay. So what do I do? How do I prepare? I prepare. I get a and then get witnesses, and do I have to refute every one of their accusations, right?
First thing you need to do is breathe. Take a rest tonight and think about what Mr. Davis said to you, and then hit it first thing hard tomorrow morning. And stop stressing out. Take a good time for a night and stretch that brain out, baby. Stretch that brain out. Relax.
Jackie, that might be the best advice for you.
I can't rest.
I know, but you're
You
gonna
gotta take care of yourself. You can't take care of your kid.
Let's gather it together. Let's rest tonight, and then I want you to call Miss G in the morning.
Okay.
Miss G wakes up early. I think she wakes up at like 5 o'clock.
If she went to sleep.
Last time you texted me at 2:30 in the morning, and I responded to you. I responded to you at 2:30 in the morning. Who does that? Miss G doesn't sleep, and that's why Miss G depends on caffeine. Correct.
But you didn't respond fast enough.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jackie.
It took you 2 minutes.
55 seconds, Jackie. 55 seconds. I kid you not. That's it. That's
not bad.
But Jackie, that's what I want you to do. Okay.
Okay.
Now I'm going to tell you this. Your case, to win your case, is not impossible.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, it might be a little more straightforward than you know.
And they broke so many laws and policies and procedures, and it's all fake and false.
No, look,
that's worried about.
You're not focusing on winning the case. You're focusing on suing them later. Okay.
Well,
them
violating policies, that's civil rights lawsuit.
Oh, that's not like to tell the judge like how they violate.
No, he doesn't care. He's in on it. He's in
No,
on it.
no,
They
no,
didn't
no.
even try to give me services.
Okay, Jackie,
Jackie,
Go to
just
bed.
listen, honey.
Okay.
Rest.
let me reel you in. Okay, you go rest.
Okay.
Call Miss G in the morning,
Okay.
and
Should
we'll
I move
take it
out
from there.
the homeless shelter?
No,
I mean,
look,
Jackie, just call me in the morning.
okay.
Go sleep in your bed, comfortable, rest.
Hey, I
I-
have a direct number for work now. Just call me. You can text me at that number too.
Okay.
Davis, can you put it on? Well, no, I can just say it. It's you ready? 626
Okay.
631 8901.
Okay. I have your phone. I have your phone number.
A niner?
Okay, and I have the old cell back. I'm going to use it for work only also.
Oh,
Okay,
good.
so
Okay.
you have that one too.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Thank
call
you.
me, text me at both numbers,
Okay.
and
I will. Oh, one more thing. I ordered some stuff off your website, Vincent. And I can't access it. How do I access it? Because I don't have Outlook.
Call Miss G in the morning.
Okay.
at 2:30 in the morning. Yeah,
well,
we
Jackie,
don't
what did you?
sleep together. Let's not sleep together, Jackie. Call me today.
Jackie, what did you order?
I forget, but I ordered the audio one of it too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh.
guess who has a copy of the audio?
Who?
Miss
You?
G.
Oh.
I don't
I'm
even.
gonna get you for this. What is this?
I don't even have a copy of it, Jackie.
Oh
Can you
no.
believe that?
Okay.
Oh my.
But Miss G has a copy.
Oh yay. Okay, cool. Yeah,
Okay.
right on. Because I was really looking forward to reading that before my hearing.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll talk to you tomorrow, Jackie.
Awesome. Thank you so
go
much.
go
Bye,
go lay
Jackie.
down and go to sleep.
I will.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Okay. We're a little bit
So-
past our time off. Anything you want to say before we sign off, Mr. Darren?
No, I'm good.
You
That's
good?
good. That's good. No, because these people need to just stop this crap. They really. You want to know? It's very simple. All the sham crap everyone's saying, common law, W4 sandwich, IRS, da 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 da. Try to find one person that's gotten their kids back from that. Just one. You find one.
Right.
Email Mr. Davis. We'll talk
Right.
about it even more. Otherwise, they're not there. Stop.
Miss G, anything you want to say before we sign off?
Yeah. Where the heck is your audio?
You can't hear me?
Yeah. Where's your audio?
What are you talking about?
Where's the audio book that I have?
Oh, I thought you had it.
I'm looking at the text messages between us, and I said, Davis, when am I going to get your audio book so I can share it with PNCs?
Okay. Well, we'll have to look for it together. Hey, before we go tonight, we have a new member of our
Are we on YouTube now? Oh,
We
damn.
have
Not
have
after my rant. That'll be another week.
Hey James. Hey James. Thank you for being a member of our YouTube channel. And
Hey,
as
James.
a YouTube member, I want you to give me a call, and we're going to have a private chat. You can call us at 888-888-6582. Let me put it in the.
Enjoy the show because you get.
We might be suspended
We
because
get
of
me
that.
back in the phone.
Before it was, what was his name? Oh my God. It was Darren's guest. We were suspended, and then now we're going to be suspended again because of Darren.
Because of me.
Hey James.
Blame it on the fat kid. Here we go.
James, give me a call.
You're not even fat.
No, just big boned.
Yeah.
All right, hey folks.
And chicken legs.
Thank you for hosting with me tonight. We'll see everyone tomorrow at 7 p.m. And we'll do this again, and we'll have fun again.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye.
Have a good night.